Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I haven't seen you in so long. I just got back from an incredible outdoor trip out on Nose Hill. It was so much fun. Now I'm all sweaty and sticky, and I'm going to shoot this video. All right, so this is a quick review of all the stuff we went over on Google Sheets this week in class for phase one of your research project. So I'm going to start at the start, and I'm going to go quick because I got another video to shoot after this, and it's the long weekend, so let's get her done. So this week, I asked you to come with a few things that you wanted to research. So it could be anything that you're interested in. The big thing that we are looking for is 5 data sets. Now remember, a data set is a collection of numbers. Okay, it's not words, it's not dates, it's a collection of numbers. Within those data sets, I want you to have at least 5 data points, right? So if you're looking at the most populated countries in the world, okay, that's one of your data sets. It would be, I don't know, Bangladesh, New Delhi, Shanghai, whatever it is. And then you have the numbers, 1.2 million or 11 billion. I don't know how many people live in those countries or those cities. That would be one data set. So now you could look for 4 other sets of data based on your interest. So maybe you could look at the population density of those cities. You could look at the mix of males versus females in those cities. All kinds of stuff, but pull the data that you can find. Okay, so I'm assuming that you know how to go on a line, find some data sheets. Remember what we talked about. If you find a T-table or a data table, you can copy that T-table, paste it into Google Sheets, and also make sure you always grab the URL, which is the address, the web address where you found that. So you have to be in your Google Suite, your EDU Google Drive. Looks like this. If you don't know how to get there, once you've logged in, go to the Google Apps, the 9 dots, and you click on Drive. Don't click on Docs. It's going to take you somewhere different. Once you're there, you can click on your folder that hopefully you've set up. It says something like Windsor Park School, okay, math, whatever it is. And then we're going to click on New. We scroll down to Google Sheets, which, yes, is very much like Excel. I like it better. I think it's more intuitive, and also it's free in your Google Suites, and everyone can use it. So once you click on that, you're going to get a blank T-table. Your T-table, when you open it up, is going to look like this. Okay. Remember, always label your Google Sheets, all your projects with your name and what it is. Mr. Paul's Stats and Probability, just up top there. I'm going to zoom in here so it's a little easier for you to see. Bingo. Now, we also want to put that down here. Mr. Paul's Stats and Probability Project. Yours will have capitals in it. Now, what we talked about, headings should be at least double what your regular font is in Excel. It really pops it out. You can make it a little smaller if you're using a Word document. There's all sort of heading settings, but for now, if you're using size 12 font, use size 24 for the heading. All right, so we got that started. I have some stuff preloaded up here. So this is a T-table I grabbed that was on, oh, look at that. School is booked, great. This here is some raw data that I just copied right from the internet. Okay, so you'll see here I have rank, I have population center. This is Calgary, Edmonton. What are we looking at? We're looking at city sizes in Alberta. Size group, I don't even really need that. I don't really care about. So remember, we clean up the data lists. I've got the population in 2021. I got this number 4 in here. That's from the other data table. We're going to clean that up. Population 2016, same thing. Clean it up, make it look all fancy. I've got the change. I probably don't need that, but I'll keep it. And here, you'll notice how I have land area in kilometers squared. Over here, you'll notice that this kilometer squared right here is in the T-table. You cannot have any numbers, letters, or symbols in your data table because it won't graph it later on. So you've got to go through and clean all those up. All right, all of your measurements need to be in the heading up at the top. Okay, so that's what a clean T-table looks like. All right, and this one here, this is a great set of data. Why? Because I've got my city here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 sets of data right here. So this counts for 4 data sets, right? So sometimes your research project, you stumble across some like gold mines of data. Just use that. Okay? You're not a university student. We're not trying to make you do a huge project here. We just want you to find some data. If you're looking at animals, harder to find those data sets, right? You may have to look at population over time. You might have to look at births over time. How many animals are in captivity over time? Collect the data you can find. Okay, we can use whatever you find. Right? Now, the next thing we talked about was cleaning up your data sheets. So this is the exact same data set, but you'll notice that it's got some color on it. Okay, so I would like every one of your, oh, we took this data out, didn't we? Let's just take that data out, get that out, delete. Notice how I did that? Little arrow, click on it, delete column. Okay, I'm not going to go into all the specifics that I did in class. I just don't have that much time. The other thing I would like you all to do is when you're cleaning up your data, like this, I would like them all center justified. So that means you go up to this little kind of hourglassy looking thing. This would move it all to the left. See, it slides to the left. This one goes to the right. It all slides over. I prefer for this project that it's all in the middle. All right. So how do you do this fancy colors? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight. You click and drag. I go up to the little paint bucket. I do not want you to use the top row of colors. They're too bright for this kind of stuff. So I'm going to pick one of these nice pastel colors. Let's make this one a deep rust. Okay, so that's the color. We always want to make sure our titles stand out. So how many down? 2. Where is it? Where's the camera? 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So I'm going to go 1, 2 down. I'm going to make the top one 2 shades lighter. Okay, each different data set should have a different color as much as you can. All right, so that's how you format it and clean it up. Notice over here, kilometers squared. I have to go in and take all of that stuff out. All right, now we talked about mean, median, mode, and range. This is not a video on that. I'm not going to go over that with you right now. But what I am going to do is I'm going to show you how to get the calculator to solve it. So notice I have mean, median, mode, and range. You need this for each data set. But don't worry, we're going to do it in a minute and a half. So what I do is I'm going to tell the computer what I want to calculate. So over here, population. Okay, I want the mean or the average of this. So this is where I want that mean to go. See, mean, population. I'm going to zoom in so you can see this symbol. This symbol here is actually a Latin symbol. It actually stands for sum. But they use it to show us when we have, hello, there we go. They use it to show us when we have a function or a formula. So it says function. When I click on that, we get all these options. Sum is adding average. Oh, average. Is that not the mean? Absolutely. So I click on it. Now you'll no doubt, yes, I know it's booked. Thank you very much. This says average and I've got a bracket. It's asking us what columns do we want to take the average of. So I'm going to highlight just the numbers that I want it to calculate the average. And you see here it says C6 to C18. This is C6 is my first data point. C18 is the last one. We hit enter. There it has calculated the average population. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's going to do some suggested stuff down there. Please don't use it. Okay, it's doesn't quite work. Okay, so we just ignore that. Now, when I click on that, up at the top it says average C6 to C18. Okay, so keep that in mind because it's going to become important. When I click on any other cell, it tells me that, well, this is the number. I don't want the number. I want it to calculate the average. If I change any of these numbers, it's going to change the average. So it's a live average. So what we can actually do is I'm going to copy this cell, right? That one that has the function in it. And now I'm just going to paste it into all of the others. Bingo, just like that. Okay, so now it's actually calculated the average of all of these zones. Now, if you don't like all of these decimal places, There's another button here up at the top, decrease decimal. I can just take all those decimals out. I can take this one back to 2 because I don't need it. Maybe add 1, something like that. Okay, so you can play around with that. But look, we just did it once and then we transfer it. Median, let's see if we can find the median. Well, it's not in here, so we go to all. And then we scroll down to the M's. LM, median, where is it? Median, right there, median. I click on it. Well, guess what? We're just going to highlight the area, hit enter. Okay. Now, the reason this works is that if you look up here, I have C6 to C18. If I go over to this one, now it's doing D. So it moves it along because the computer's smart enough to know, oh, we're calculating this next column. So what do? Control C, Control V, done. Mode, guess what? All. Mode, right there, there's a mode. Highlight, hit enter. What? Oh, why does it say not applicable? What's the mode? Yes, thank you. The mode is the number that shows up the most. So if we don't have more than one duplicate number, it's not going to show up. Here's the bad thing. Maximum minus the minimum. You have to calculate this by hand. Okay, so you take the highest number minus the smallest number, subtract them. Now you can do it, it's just a little trickier, but I'm not going to do that for you. All right, so this is ideally what I have for you because now you're going to start looking at some data, how to compare data. So if we look at this little data, I've got the population of Calgary at 1,000 or 1,300,000, and it takes up 621 square kilometers. Okay, if we go down to Okotoks, it has 30,000 people. That is not very many. Let's just see. We have 1,300,000 and we divide that by 30,000. That's 430 times the number of people in Calgary than there is in Okotoks. That's a lot. So you could put 430 Okotokses into Calgary. Okay, that's a cool stat right there. Now, if we look at the, what's this one here, land use area, Calgary has 621 square kilometers. Okotoks has 17. So what do you think? Do you think that's going to be higher or lower than 400? 621 divided by 17. 36 times. So Okotoks only has 36 times more land, but we have 430 times more people. Okay, so who do you think has more room, Okotoks or Calgary? Right, so these are the trends that once you have the data, you're just trying to look for some comparisons and something that's going to be interesting to ask about and stuff you're curious about. All right, so that's video number 1. Okay, hope that helps, and we'll talk to you soon in video number 2.